Welcome to the ultimate guide on securing a completely free home weatherization program. Today, we're embarking on a mission together. We're going to take what usually feels like an intimidating, overly complicated bureaucratic process and transform it into a clear, totally manageable journey. Seriously, if you've ever looked at government assistance applications and just felt completely overwhelmed, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to break it all down for you.
I want you to start by just picturing this for a second. You're saving hundreds of dollars on your energy bills every single year, all while enjoying a cozier, much more comfortable and greener home. Imagine finally eliminating those awful drafty windows in the winter, or that stifling, unbearable heat in the summer, and get this, not having to pay a single dime out of pocket to do it. Intrigued? Well, you absolutely should be, because this explainer is designed right from the jump to make applying for these benefits not just easy, but totally successful.
Okay, let's dive right into this. $372, that is the average annual energy savings generated per household that participates in the Federal Weatherization Assistance Program, or WAP. Over the lifetime of the program, it's literally modernized more than 7.2 million homes across the country. And listen, this isn't some theoretical rebate we're talking about. This is a direct, substantial reduction in the crushing energy burden that forces way too many families to make impossible choices between staying warm, eating properly, and getting medical care.
To get you those savings, here's our quick roadmap for today. First, the power of home weatherization. Second, understanding your eligibility criteria. Third, gathering your required documents. Fourth, our step-by-step application guide. Fifth, common applicant FAQs and pitfalls. And finally, final tips and that mandatory disclaimer.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the power of home weatherization.
It's incredibly important to realize that these programs are designed to do so much more than just toss some insulation in an attic or shave a few bucks off your electric bill. This is a comprehensive, life-changing program that fundamentally addresses the health and safety of your actual living environment. According to a really fascinating retrospective study by the Oak Ridge National Laboratory, for every single dollar invested in weatherization, there's a massive $4.50 return in combined energy, health, and safety benefits. Because homes get properly sealed and ventilated, and dangerous combustion appliances get repaired or replaced, families actually miss fewer days of work from being sick, and they pay significantly less in out-of-pocket health expenses. It's a huge ripple effect that dramatically improves overall quality of life.
Moving right along to Section 2, understanding your eligibility criteria.
So, before you start filling out stacks of forms, we need to figure out if you qualify, right? This program targets households that need it the absolute most, and eligibility is primarily driven by two things: your household income and your household size. Most state programs use the Department of Energy's standard baseline, which sits at 200% of the federal poverty level. Just to put that into perspective, for a single-person household, that threshold is $31,920. For a family of four, it sits at $66,000. But hey, here's a massive insider tip for you. If you or anyone in your household already gets supplemental security income, temporary assistance for needy families, or benefits from the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, which you might know as LIHEAP, you are very often automatically, categorically eligible. Section 3. Gathering your required documents. Think of this phase like packing your toolkit before a really big hike. You do not want to get halfway up the mountain and realize you forgot your water bottle, right? Having these documents ready to go in advance is literally the #1 way to prevent your application from getting stuck in bureaucratic limbo. Honestly, I'd highly recommend jotting this checklist down right now so you're totally prepared. You're absolutely going to need a government-issued photo ID. You'll need proof of your living situation, so a deed or tax record if you own the place, or a valid lease if you rent. You'll need a utility bill to prove your address, and income proof like W-2s or pay stubs for every single member of the household. Crucially, you need your current energy bills, usually from the last 6 weeks, because that's how they calculate your actual energy burden. Oh, and if you're renting, you'll need a signed authorization form from your landlord. When you finally get your hands on these intake forms in the real world, you'll quickly notice they explicitly detail options for equipment replacement, and that's a game changer. We aren't just talking about caulking a few drafty windows here. Depending on what the energy audit finds, this assistance can cover major critical interventions. We're talking repairing or entirely replacing wildly inefficient heating and cooling systems, old wood stoves, or even broken water heaters. All of this ensures your home is actually safe and fully functional.
Okay, on to Section 4, our step-by-step application guide.
Now that your documents are totally assembled, it's time to actually kick off the process in your local community.
This journey happens in 4 main stages. First, you've got to identify your local administrator. Second, you submit your application and, if you're eligible, you join the waitlist. Third, once you finally reach the top of that list, your home undergoes a comprehensive energy audit. And finally, stage 4, the actual weatherization work is installed, followed up by a super strict quality control inspection to make sure everything was done flawlessly.
So, how do we build your specific action plan? Well, because the federal government allocates the funds but doesn't actually process the applications themselves, you can't just apply on some central federal website. You absolutely must find your local provider, which is usually a nonprofit community action agency. The absolute easiest way to track them down is to call the National Energy Assistance Referral, or the NEAR line, at 1-866-674-6327. You can also check your state-specific energy portal. They're going to connect you directly to the agency that operates in your specific county.
Once you apply and your number finally comes up, you get the energy audit. Let's demystify this a bit. A certified Building Performance Institute auditor is going to come out to your home entirely for free. And they don't just walk around guessing what you need, they use actual science. They run what's called a blower door test to measure exactly where air is leaking out of your house. They check your thermal envelope, they measure the insulation levels, and they strictly test your heating and cooling equipment for carbon monoxide and overall safety. From all of that, they use specialized software to create a highly specific, data-driven scope of work for the contractors to follow.
Which brings us to Section 5, Common Applicant FAQs and Pitfalls.
Look, government programs can be super confusing, so let's preemptively slay a few dragons by addressing some common roadblocks right now. This is arguably the most frequent question we see. I'm a renter, not a homeowner. Can I still get my home weatherized so my energy bills go down? It's a huge, valid concern for millions of non-homeowners out there who are suffering from ridiculously high utility costs.
And the answer is a resounding yes. Renters are absolutely eligible to apply. However, because contractors are going to be permanently modifying the actual structure of the building, your landlord absolutely must grant written permission. Plus, the program rules often stipulate that if a furnace or water heater in a rental property is found to be fundamentally unsafe, it's actually the property owner's responsibility to repair or replace that appliance before the free weatherization work can even begin. So, it's a partnership for sure, but it is highly accessible for renters. Okay, here's another major roadblock. What if a family is going through a period of severe hardship and literally has zero income to report? Or maybe they're working odd jobs with undocumented income. This is where many of our most vulnerable applicants unfortunately just throw their hands up and give up on the process entirely, simply because they think they can't provide those traditional required pay stubs. Well, here is the absolutely crucial point. The Department of Energy actually has a specific policy for this exact scenario. Under Weatherization Program Notice 10-18, if you have zero income or undocumented income and you've exhausted all other possible avenues of proving your eligibility, you are allowed to submit a notarized statement of self-certification. You literally sign a legal document stating you have no other proof, and that alone keeps your application moving forward. Please don't let a lack of traditional pay stubs stop you from getting the help you deserve.
Another really incredible part of this program is how explicitly it's designed to link up with other vital support networks. Local providers know that if you need help keeping the lights on or paying energy bills, you might also really benefit from affordable housing programs, food assistance like SNAP, or even mental health resources. Many of these community action agencies actually operate as one-stop intake centers. That means filling out just one application could potentially open the door to comprehensive, multi-program help for your whole family.
And finally, Section 6, Final Tips and our mandatory disclaimer.
We're nearing the end of our journey today, and you now have the exact roadmap to get your home weatherized. Let's just do a tiny bit of quick legal housekeeping before you go. While this explainer serves as your definitive guide to the framework of these programs, the exact policies, specific income thresholds, and available funding do vary significantly from state to state, and they can change year over year. Congress provides the funds, but those funds are finite, which is exactly why those wait lists exist in the first place. You must always verify the exact current details with your local community action agency or your official state government sources. All right, you are now officially ready to tackle this process head-on. By understanding the steps, getting those documents gathered up early, and knowing your exact rights as a renter or a zero-income applicant, you are vastly increasing your chances of success. I really want to hear from you now, though. What home upgrade are you most excited to get funded? Is it a brand new furnace? Are you finally getting some decent insulation in the attic? Share your questions, your goals, and your experiences down in the comments below so we can keep learning from each other. Good luck with your application, and hey, here's to a much more comfortable, energy-efficient home.